Hello Brain Shakers, welcome to the Brain Shakers Academy. Brave Alistair is here. Today I bring you a topic called labor. Now as we look at the entire process of labor, we're going to obviously be looking at it in a number of series. That is looking at what normal labor is, the various stages of labor, where we get to look at the fourth stage of labor as well. And then we will look at how labor then is initiated, and then we would have completed the entire process of labor. So let's quickly dive in and understand the three main stages of labor, but we are also going to be looking at the fourth stage of labor. So watch till the end so you understand what the fourth stage of labor also is. So labor is a process in which there is then going to be the expulsion of all the products of a conception, and then you reach a stage where homeostasis has been achieved, bleeding has been controlled. Now if we are looking at normal labor has to satisfy a number of characteristics. That is, it has to be spontaneous labor. That is, it's starting on its own without you having to induce the woman or giving any prostaglandin. So we would have classified that as normal labor. And it has to be labor in which there is going to be the use of maternal effort, meaning that the woman will have to actually push and bear down so that that baby is then delivered. And this labor then has to have the fetus presenting in a cephalic presentation. So if the baby or the fetus is presenting in any other presentation other than the cephalic presentation, that will not qualify to be classified as normal labor in this instance. And we want that labor to obviously culminate into no complications between that is complications to the mother or complications to then the baby. And then this whole process of labor should actually not at least exceed about 18 hours. So this is just an average range in terms of time frame, because we're looking at the time from a regular rhythmic uterine contractions until a stage when you get into the fourth stage of labor. Now let's quickly dive in and look at what the stages of labor are. So the process of labor basically has about three main stages, and in different literatures you find the fourth stage. So do stay tuned so you can also know what the fourth stage of labor is. So the three main stages of labor, we're going to obviously have, number one is going to be what we refer to as the first stage. Okay, so the first stage of labor is a period from the onset of regular rhythmic uterine contractions up until a woman is actually 10 centimeters dilated. It means that the cervix now has given way and is allowing the whole process of delivery to then happen. So we're saying that the first stage of labor is from the onset of regular rhythmic uterine contractions. So you need to have contractions that are regular, not just once-off contractions for you to be actually stated as in you are getting into labor, up until when the cervix is 10 centimeters dilated. Now, this first stage of labor can then be divided into two main subphases. In other times, we do divide it into three main subphases. Number one is what we call the latent phase of the first stage of labor. So this is going to be the latent phase. And then number two is what we call the active phase of the first stage of labor. Now, the active phase then would also give rise to another phase in the first stage that we call the transitional stage, which is merely just moving from the first stage to the second stage of labor. So the latent phase of labor is when you move from the onset of regular rhythmic uterine contractions to about 3 centimeters dilated. That is, the cervix is going to be 3 centimeters dilated. Then you would consider that as the latent phase of labor. Then when we're talking about the active phase of labor is anything from about 4 centimeters dilated to about 10 centimeters dilated. Now, one may ask, when do you classify it as a transitional stage or the transitional phase of the first stage of labor? So when they are roughly around 7-8 centimeters dilated to about 10 centimeters, that is what we would call the transitional stage of labor, because they are moving now from the first stage to the second stage, when the contractions then begin to become a little bit more strong and very explosive. Now, having looked at the first stage of labor, then we have what we call the second stage of labor. Okay, so the second stage of labor is from 10 centimeters dilated, that is when the cervix is 10 centimeters dilated, to the delivery of the baby. Okay, so from when a woman has gotten to about 10 centimeters dilated to the actual delivery or the complete delivery of the baby, that is going to be the second stage. And within this stage, we're saying that you're going to have the expulsive contractions being at play so that the baby can then be delivered. Then we can look at what we classify as the third stage of labor. Okay, so the third stage of labor, this is characterized by the delivery of the placenta and its membranes, and it's often referred to as the delivery of the afterbirth. So we are saying from the delivery of the baby to the delivery of the placenta and its membranes. So the placenta and the membranes will then be delivered at this stage. So this is going to be our third stage of labor. So the delivery of the placenta and its membranes then will give you the third stage. Then you move into what we often call the fourth stage of labor. Okay, so the fourth stage of labor, in most times it's actually combined to the third stage of labor, and that's why we say we have three main stages of the process of labor. So the fourth stage of labor is just basically from the delivery of the placenta and membranes, so placenta and membranes, to a state where you have actually achieved homeostasis. That is, bleeding now has then been controlled, and this is a critical period in the first hour or so after the delivery of the placenta and membranes, where you are watching out for any bleeding, where you're watching out for any deterioration in the condition of the woman that has just delivered, because you are now at the back of your mind, you have the physiology, the cardiovascular changes that do happen during pregnancy, where you have about 500 to 800 mils per minute that is circulating to the uterus, and now the placenta and membranes and all the entire products of conception have then been delivered. So what is going to happen after the delivery of the placenta and membranes is what has to bring out the woman into a state of homeostasis, and that's why this stage as well is a very important stage to obviously look at the control of bleeding and also how the woman is getting back to the normal self. So those are the main stages of the process of labor, but basically we have the three main stages, that is the first stage, the second stage, and the third stage, and then the fourth stage is what is often combined with the third stage to account for the control of bleeding or the process of homeostasis. Now, if you find this video helpful and insightful in helping you to understand the basic stages of the process of labor, don't hesitate to drop me comments in the comment section. Give it a thumbs up. Please do share this video as much as possible, and don't forget as well to subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is the Brain Shakers Academy. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.